In last week's vlog, I told you how I was going to help you get towards owning a Ferrari. Who's got 500 to $1 million to go and spend on a Ferrari? I might have a better way. What's happening, everybody? The purpose of today's vlog is not just to drive around in my car all day and look like a bit of a flog, because this is a vlog, not a flog. But we're going to talk today about a way of purchasing a car which just may allow you to get your hands on a car that you perhaps didn't think or perhaps thought was a bit out of your reach. So take this car for example. It's a Range Rover Sport supercharged dynamic, 0 to 100 in I think 4.7 seconds. Definitely classified as a luxury car. It's worth north of 180,000 bucks. I would never have thought of myself as a car guy, but I love driving this thing around. Goes like the clappers, and I have a great time with it. There's no doubt this car is an absolute beauty. But if you think I paid $180,000 for it, you'd be absolutely kidding yourself. Okay, so when it comes to buying a car, there's probably two really common ways to go about it. The first one is that you save money over a period of time and then you buy the car outright with that surplus income you've been saving. The benefit of that, of course, is that once you buy the asset, you've bought it outright, there's no interest, there's no repayments, and that asset is yours. You own it wholly and solely. You can go out and do what you like to it. You can make improvements to it, you can trash it, you can bang it up, no one cares because it's yours. Number two, you go and get a loan. Typically speaking, people are going to think to go to their bank, and two options probably that I think of. First of all, if you've got a mortgage and you've paid some of that down, you're going to have what's called equity, which means value in your house, which you have been paying off over a period of time. So you can do what's called redraw, which is when you take money back off that loan, you increase the rate of your mortgage by the amount that you're going to spend, and then you pay that off on home loan rates. Or you might go and get a personal loan where the security is essentially the car that you're buying. Now, just to talk about that for a minute and why I might have a better alternative for you, is when you go to make those repayments, you're doing that with what's called your net income or your after-tax income. So if you think about it this way, if you spend $75,000 on a car and you earn $75,000, you have to deduct tax off your gross income and then pay back the loan with net income. So in fact, you have to earn a lot more than $75,000. If we assume that you're paying 40 cents in the dollar tax on your income, in order to repay $75,000, which would be the loan, you actually have to earn $105,000. Now, with all that said, I want to propose to you option number three. And option number three is the way that I have paid for or financed 4 of the 5 cars that I've ever owned. 2 Subarus and 2 Range Rover Sports. Now, the concept is called Novated leasing, and it's a form of salary packaging. And now, in order to be able to think about this or consider this, you need to go to your employer and see whether or not salary packaging is something that they will offer you. But the reason it's so powerful, and I'm going to keep this really simple, and I'm going to put some links below if you want to get a little bit more in depth into how this all works. Under a leasing arrangement, you're effectively renting the car. So the financial institution that you are leasing from, they will actually own the car, and over time you're making these repayments back to them, principal and interest, knocking down the value that you need to repay over time. But at the end of the lease, you don't own the car outright. There's, generally speaking, there is what's called a balloon payment or a residual amount that you will still own. Now, it's at that point in time you can decide to either hand the car back. The key there is making sure and doing your calculations to make sure that the value of the car is equal to or more than the residual payment. Otherwise, you might actually have to pay a little bit more back to the bank. I've never actually had to pay any more. In fact, generally speaking, when I sell the car and I repay the residual amount, I generally have a little bit in my pocket. But the goal is never to make money out of it. The goal is just never to lose money out of it. Now, of course, it sounds a little bit too good to be true. You're making these rental payments back to the leasing company with pre-tax dollars. The ATO here in Australia does apply a tax to this. It's called a fringe benefits tax. The view is that if you're doing this through an employer, they're providing you with this benefit. They classify that as a fringe benefit, and therefore there's potentially some tax to pay at the end of each year. Now, I'm not going to go into the calculation of how all that works, because it does depend on exactly how much you earn and also how much the value of the car is. But needless to say, if you're staying in around about, say, the $50,000 to $75,000 mark, you can also package up a lot of the running costs. Like, let's say you need a new set of tyres, let's say there's some servicing, petrol, etc. Any fringe benefits tax that might be payable at the end is reduced by the amount of money that's gone into running the vehicle. I'm going to link a calculator below so you can punch in specifically how much you earn, the value of the car you think you might want to purchase, an interest amount, the term of the lease, and just see exactly what it comes out at, and then you can make a decision from there. But in saying that, when I mentioned before that this is a form of salary packaging, there are a couple of other things that a lot of people wouldn't realise that they can salary package. Laptops and phones. You're allowed to salary package one laptop and one phone per year, and there's no fringe benefits tax applicable. So this is actually a free kick. You can pay for this with pre-tax dollars. Leasing is hugely popular in Australia, and I wouldn't be surprised if the majority of luxury cars that you see out there on the roads aren't leased vehicles. Very, very few people would be going out and laying down $150,000 to $200,000 for a luxury car on the spot. Leasing is, generally speaking, the way they're going to go. So I hope you got something out of today. If it enables you to go and maybe look at a car that you weren't considering before, or going out and buying a laptop or a mobile phone with pre-tax dollars and save you a few dollars along the way, then that's fantastic. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to give it a like, and also subscribe to hit the subscribe button to this so that you can get notifications when further vlogs come out. Thanks very much.